Now, usually an encapsulation is called for when the homeowner has been made aware or notices some kind of a problem. Sometimes on the outside of the house, sometimes in the crawl space. And in this case, you can tell that the spatter of the mud on that lower board down there, and to a lesser degree on the second from the bottom board. So, at least on the outside, they put mulch up here, which is the wrong thing to do. You don't put the mulch up against the house. That just keeps whatever water, and you can see that's pretty wet or damp. So you want that wood to be exposed first of all. But this may have been what prompted what you're going to see in just a second here. And this is inside the crawl space with the place directly behind me that we just looked at. And this is black plastic instead of white plastic. And it's a heavier grade than is normally used for a vapor barrier. Normally it's about 6 mil. Normally at Bi-Coat it is 6 mil. And this is typically 8 to 10 mil. And that takes a little more abuse than the vapor barrier. But this is a partial encapsulation, where it's on the ground and brought up the sides of the wall. Now, complete encapsulation would be the underside of the floor up there. So it's a real clean, neat installation. And I'm going to go behind me right here, and we're going to see what's on the other side of that wall. Now this is directly on the other side of the outside shot we started with there. I was going to cut it while I film, but I just can't. There's not enough room. So I'm going to cut that plastic and check the block behind it. So I've just cut that plastic, and that's a problem with encapsulations that very few people are acknowledging. The darker spot on the wall is dampness on the block. When you encapsulate a crawl space, you have to take care of what water's coming in there, because the plastic will actually trap the water on the wall. And you want everything to be dry in your crawl space. And this, sometimes in encapsulations they will include, the contractor will include a dehumidifier. The dehumidifier has to be a good one, and it runs virtually all the time. In this case, you can see the light. The crawl space vents are open, and to my way of thinking, that's good. But it's this trapping of water in the wall that's troublesome, because that water will go somewhere. These plates that the framing is on in these newer houses are all pressure treated, and that's not the problem. But it's the wood above the plate, because that water will vaporize, and it will stay in the house. It will stay in the wall. And that's what leads to mold and mildew. So, if you're going for an encapsulation, just as I've said before, be sure it's doing what you want it to do. Because the encapsulation oven by itself will not take care of that moisture. and that's what's going to damage the house. And you can tell by I'm clearing my throat that there is a little bit of mold and mildew in the air down here. So I'll put that back together, put that corner back together, and have a little talk with the homeowner and see what they want to do. Now, as I started to put this back together, I noticed on the joists, and that's what was making breathing a little bit difficult down here. So there's already indications. Now, it's possible that the homeowner knew this, and the encapsulation was in response to the start of mold and mildew growth. But mold and mildew grows from moisture. And I'm going to ask you if you think the mold and mildew that you just saw that is already growing is going to go dormant when it has this kind of a moisture source so close to it. And I would guess this encapsulation was in the vicinity of $3,000. It's good material, good workmanship, but does it solve the problem? Was it worth the expenditure?